So, in this episode, we're going to talk about the psychology and the philosophy of the levels of learning. And there are three different styles here that I'm going to share with you. The first one are the stages or the mental aspects of learning. The second is really the martial arts perspective on learning and going through those same different stages. And the third is the feelings of learning so that you can know, where am I? How do I feel? And where do I want to go and what to do next? So let's get into it. First, we're going to talk about the stages of learning. Now, these are from psychology. I learned about it about 30 years ago, doing a whole bunch of research, took a bunch of courses and everything else, and wanted to learn about learning because I realized I thought I was a slow learner. And so what I wanted to do was speed up my learning process. And so I was fortunate enough to meet a couple of people who were experts at learning, and they taught me several different things that I'm going to share with you today. The first are the stages. So classical psychology says there's 4 stages to learning. And I'll go through them with you really quickly. The first is unconscious incompetence. That's like, I don't know that I don't know. For example, I'm sitting on my couch, I'm watching a movie, someone comes in and says, "Hey, have you heard of artificial intelligence?" And if I lived in the backwoods and haven't heard about it, I'm like, "No, I don't know anything about that. I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds like a weird thing and I don't want to know." Or, right? So I could do that. And then what happens is I move immediately from that unconscious incompetence into conscious incompetence, which is where I say, "I don't know anything about it. But 5 minutes ago, I never heard of it, and it wasn't real to me, and it wasn't even a thing in the universe of the world as far as I knew." But suddenly someone says, "Hey, have you heard about artificial intelligence?" And I move from unconscious incompetence about it to consciously knowing I'm incompetent, to consciously knowing I don't know what that is. What do you mean artificial intelligence? That sounds really weird. Is it a breakfast cereal? Right? We don't know. But the fundamental thing is all of us go through these stages. So we go from not knowing anything about something and never hearing about it to hearing about it and knowing nothing about it. And then the third stage is called conscious competence. That's like, okay, I go out, I Google a little bit, I read some articles, I ask some people about it. Now I start to understand what artificial intelligence is. Maybe I get a free account with ChatGPT or Google Gemini. I start to test it and use it. I really don't know how to prompt or ask it questions yet. I'm just kind of using it as an extended Google. And if I keep studying it and learning it and focusing on it and really diving in and maybe taking a little course or two or watching some videos about artificial intelligence and how to prompt and how to set up a question and how to save prompts and so forth, I can suddenly become really good at it just at the snap of my finger. And it'll become as easy for me as tying my shoe, right? Like you tie your shoes. Do you remember how to tie your shoes? If I sat down and said, "Tell me exactly how to tie your shoes," you might have to do the whole bunny ears thing that kids learn, right? But if you just do it, it's fine. Or like for men who wear ties, if you wear a tie and you do it often enough, you forget how to do it because you do it automatically. You're in what's called unconscious competence. Same with driving a car. If you drive a car for 10 or 20 years, you just know how to drive that car. It just works perfectly. And that's why all modern cars have most of the same things, the turn signal, the shift, all of them in the same place. So that if you switch from one vehicle to another, your unconscious competence automatically kicks in and you know where the brake and the pedal is and everything else. Okay. So unconscious incompetence. I don't know that I don't know. Conscious incompetence. I now know that I don't know anything about that. I'm really bad at it and I suck at it. Conscious competence. I'm trying it. I'm learning it. I'm getting okay. And unconscious competence, or super conscious competence is also called. Now I can just do it any time of the day. I can make a cup of coffee. I can drive my car. I can shoot a basketball through a hoop. I can work out at the gym. I can do all these things. And you have gone through these 4 stages tens of thousands of times in your life. Any skill you have, any knowledge you have, any awareness that you have that you can do something with, you've gone through those 4 stages and you've achieved that level of capacity. It's really cool. Now that we understand the psychology of it, let's go through the martial arts, because I was fortunate enough to study under a guy named Grandmaster Bruce Terrell. He's a world-class martial artist. He's in the who's who of international martial arts. And we used to call him Yoda because he was just had so much wisdom, like Mr. Miyagi or something, right? Super cool human being. And I'm super grateful for what he taught me. He taught me that those same 4 levels of stages that we just talked about, the unconscious incompetence and so forth, actually have a martial arts version of them. And he called them this. And I'm going to show this to you and you can practice it. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to walk through it first and show it to you, and then I'll explain it. Blindness, duality, oneness, emptiness. So again, blindness, duality, oneness, emptiness. So what does that mean? Well, If you're in blindness, again, you don't know that you don't know. You're completely unaware. It's like the guy who's walking around with a napkin on the back of his shirt that says "kick me" or something, right? He doesn't know it's there. He's completely unaware. And he's just fixed in that belief system he has that does not yet include the napkin on his back. Or if we go to the AI model, it's like saying, I'm sitting on my couch, maybe somewhere in my cabin out in the woods. I've never heard of AI. I'm completely unaware of it, but I'm limited because I don't know this information that's out there about artificial intelligence, about all the different tools, how to use it, all the wonderful things you can do with it, all the consequences, etc. So I'm completely blind to that reality. Then what happens is someone tells me about it. And this is where I go into duality. I go from blindness to duality. I'm like, there's a thing I heard about. I don't know anything about it, but I really want to know about it. And the distance between and the passion or the energy you have for learning the thing you want or having the thing you want and where you are now causes pain or difficulty, right? So typically when we get into that duality, we do this. We fight, flight, freeze, or just freak out. So for example, someone finds out, let's say that Aunt Susan, who you've never met, she lives maybe in Australia. It turn out you get an email and she's got cancer. Terrible thing. We don't want her to have cancer. We hope she heals. That's just true. But we immediately go into duality about it. I don't want her to have the cancer. We reject it. We get afraid of it, or we go into learning about it. We go, okay, I don't know anything about it. I have to learn about this, but I'm in duality. She has cancer. I don't know what that kind of cancer is or what it means or how fast she's going to die or live or whatever. And now I go out and I want to learn it. So I'm gonna fight forward into the information, or if it's really scary, what if I got a diagnosis of cancer? At first, I might be in denial and go, I don't want to hear about it. No, 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 right? So that's that duality piece. And duality is comprised of two things in essence. One, it's having something you don't know, turning into something you do know, and you want to know more or you want to know less. You either go back to the couch and sit there in the cabin and ignore it, or you move forward into learning about it. When you move forward into learning about it, you go out, you research, you learn it, you move from that duality into oneness. You become competent with it. You become confident with it. You know, if you practice it and you focus on it, you can do it. Like the first time you took the car out on your own, maybe after you did driver's ed or someone in your family taught you how to drive. And you got your license and you start driving and you're careful and you go, okay, signal, okay, brake, okay, whatever, right? You're doing all the things you have to do because you're consciously going through that checklist of what to do. So what's nice about that is once you are in oneness, you begin to feel good. And oftentimes people go, I got this. And then they get in a car accident because they let their focus down. See, oneness is about focus. Oneness is about determination. Oneness is about learning the material and really getting it. It takes a while to do that. But again, after you've done it for a couple of years or a couple of months or whatever it is for that particular skill or information, you suddenly move into emptiness. It's like, I got this. I can get in the car. I can be talking to you sitting in the passenger seat, having a conversation while I'm driving, and I can still keep the conversation going. That's pretty cool. And that's because what's happened is when you get into that zone of emptiness where you are completely aware and your consciousness is free and you can still do the thing, whatever it is you're doing, whether it's martial arts or whether it's, making cookies or whether it's driving a car or tying your shoe, because you can tie your shoe and talk to someone at the same time. Isn't that amazing? When you were 3, you couldn't tie your shoe. When you were 4, you learned how to tie your shoe, but only if you focused on the bunny ears, right? That's how it works. So that's the states, the martial arts states. Blindness, I don't know that I don't know. Duality, I know that I don't know and I can't do the thing. I just learned about it and I can't do it and I'm angry and upset or I'm fearful or I'm excited, one of the two, but it's just this distance between these two. Then oneness, I focus hard, I work on it, and now I can do it consistently so long as I focus and keep my focus and comprehension on the item, right? And then I move into emptiness. I got this. I can do this 10 times a day without even thinking about it. Next, we're going to move. We went through the stages and the states. Now we're going to go to the feelings. And this is important because it teaches you, how do I know I'm doing this? How do I know I'm doing it right? Where am I, right? If you find yourself in a feeling about something, a new piece of information or whatever, you need to know, how am I feeling? Because that tells you where you are in the stages and whether you're leaning forward or retreating back to the couch, right? In our metaphor. So the first zone, we'll call them zones. The first zone is the comfort zone. You're in the comfort zone. You're sitting on the couch, you're playing Game Boy, watching a video, eating popcorn, talking to your spouse or partner, friend, whatever, having a really good time, and you don't know anything about AI. So you're just comfortable. It's all good. I don't know about this AI thing. My job is fine, right? Never heard of it. It's easy. It feels good. It feels blissful. It feels relaxed. It feels unrestrained because there's nothing out there that you're opposing. There's no conflict. There's no duality. There's no difficulty. You're just having a good time. And then suddenly someone says something. Hey, I heard that our jobs might be going away because they're getting this new AI system. And you're like, what's AI? And why is my job going away? Instant incompetence, instant duality, instant pain for most people. But here's the key. There's an old thing in the Marines. They say, pain is just weakness leaving the body. And what we know is that when something is difficult, when we're in conflict and we feel pain, when we're in duality and we feel pain, that's where the growth happens. Because we go from being back on our heels, we go from being the effect of something we don't want to leaning into it now. We're not going to go back to the couch. We're going to move forward to learn. And when we do that, that's called the growth zone. So we go from the comfort zone on the couch. We get confronted with something we need to learn or want to learn or didn't know about, and suddenly we have to deal with it. And now we're going to go into that intentionally. We'll teach you about that next week, about how to learn faster with these stages. So you intentionally learn and lean forward into the learning. How can I get a mentor? How can I learn about it? What can I do? And you begin to go through it. And that's where personal growth happens. You overcome the block, right? You turn a stumbling block or a roadblock into a stepping stone, as my coach friend Eric says. And it's like, are able to move forward because you're growing into the new capacities in your brain and your body and your skills, in your relationships and your emotions. You're able now to confront that thing, move forward. And now when you're moving forward and you've learned it and you've got that sense of conscious competence, and you've got that sense of oneness, and you got oneness and you're confident, you're doing it. How does that feel? It feels exciting. It's called the go zone. So we go from the comfort zone back on the couch to the growth zone where we're struggling with it and we're learning and we're moving forward to finally when I can do it, when I focus and concentrate, right? I'm in that oneness. That's called the go zone. It feels exciting. I can go. I can get in the car and go. I can get on a plane. I can go someplace because I learned about it. I can do the new skill. I can do the thing. I can keep my job because I learned more about AI, whatever it is. You're in the go zone and you're going for it. That's really powerful. That feeling of going into that, going from comfort then to discomfort in the growth zone and then moving forward and learning and going to the go zone is super powerful. Now, what happens in that fourth level of feelings? That's where you're in the flow zone, right? That you're super unconscious about even whether you know how to tie a shoe or not. You just tie your shoe, right? You're in that emptiness. You're in that awareness. We call this the flow zone. Why? Because you're totally in flow with life. You can bake the cookies while you talk to your friend. You can drive the car while you listen to a radio show, right? You can tie your shoes and chew gum at the same time. So you can do multiple things because they're already instantiated. They're already embedded in your body and your knowledge system in your brain, and they're on automaticity. And they just run automatically because you've got that level of expertise embedded into you now. You now own the skill. Rather than being the effect of it, you're now the cause of it. You're the intentional, instant capacity to just make it happen because you're in the flow zone. So let's review. In all of life, you've learned thousands of things already. You've already gone through all these stages, states, and feelings so many times it's unbelievable. Now you know how to go through them, right? You have an idea of how they work so you can see, where am I? How do I feel? What do I know or not know? Am I leaning into it with excitement and encouragement and going forward? Or am I feeling back on my heels? I don't really want to talk about this and everything else. So we're going to go from unconscious incompetence, which is also called blindness, unaware, feeling bound by it. And it's also kind of easy because it's a comfort zone. It's easy to stay ignorant. It's easy to stay unaware. It's easy to avoid the hard topics in life. Just sit on the couch and have a good time and eat popcorn and watch movies, right? A lot of people do that. Maybe too many people in our world, right? So the second, again, going across this way now, conscious incompetence. I now know I can't do it. I heard this thing. My job's going to get replaced by AI. I know I can't do it. Never heard of it. I don't know what it is. I'm in duality and I have a choice. I can go back to the couch and go back into blindness, back into the comfort zone, or I can go lean into it and fight for it, learn it, dominate it, get it, and get into a new space with it. And I can enjoy the growth zone knowing, hey, this is difficult. Like in the gym, when you're doing a new bench press, you're doing a new movement. It's painful, maybe it's hard. You're sweating, you're working out hard, but that's where the growth happens. It doesn't happen on the couch. It happens when you go for it, right? Okay. And then you get competent with it. You're consciously competent. I can do this when I try, when I focus. I can do the thing and the stuff. Now you're in oneness with it. You feel confident. You feel competent. You feel happy. It feels exciting because it's called the go zone, right? And you're just on it and it's happening and life is beautiful and good and you feel like you're winning again, right? You're making things happen again. And then finally you get to that place where it's like it's embedded in your body. You feel emptiness. You feel completely aware and open and free, but you can still do the thing because you're in flow. It feels great. It feels joyful. It feels blissful. So those are the stages, states, and feelings of learning. We'll put the image up so you can see it. Check it out. We might even put a copy of it down below that you can download. And I'm telling you what, once you learn about learning, it's so much easier. It's so much faster. You can instantly stop and go, how do I feel right now? And you go, I'm in the growth zone because I'm uncomfortable and I'm resisting doing the thing. I'm feeling duality. Oh no, what do I have to do? I have to lean into it. I have to be humble. I have to be willing to learn. I have to be a white belt again, as it were, and go for it. And if you do that in life, every time you are confronted with that feeling or that issue or that need to learn something or duality, right? That duality, it's okay. Open up, lean in. You got this. You've done it 10,000 times already. What's 10,001? Also, I've been thinking about this for a long time because I have taught this material since the early 2000s. If you'd like me to do a live webinar and go through this and do a Q&A with you guys, we can jump online. I'm happy to do it for a group of people, but I need enough people down below to say, I want to learn more about this. Take me through it personally, something like that. Just put webinar down there and I'll reach out to you and we'll make it happen. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I love talking about this stuff because it has been so helpful to me and it's amazing. Now, look, if you like this, I have an ebook that I wrote just for you. You can download it on our website, lifesuccesstools.com, or down below there's a link. It's called Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. And if you've listened to this video, you've already changed your mind now today. You're already now in oneness with what we've been talking about. You're already now in the go zone because you can go down below, click on the link, and get it. So we're going to talk a lot more about this. Your life is amazing, and it's going to get even better.